Hello, everyone. It's February 16, 2021, and you're watching me, Nikki, also known as Faces Trader, for the Philippine Market Update. Let's begin. So, the Philippine markets, congratulations, it's now 2021. So, the Chinese New Year is officially over. So, we've got January 2021 for Chinese. Now, Jollibee is now back in the black in quarter four and is eyeing an expansion this year. I'm gonna read that for you. Jollibee actually posted 2 billion pesos in net income in the fourth quarter of 2020. It's still down 35% compared to 2019. However, the revenues has started to narrow the losses. Like the decrease is now 30% to 36.7 billion versus a year ago, primarily because of permanent store closures, lower sales per store due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, despite the sharp decline in the profits in October to December, this is still a remarkable improvement over the net losses that has been posted in just 3 quarters. Now, for the whole of 2020, Jollibee actually lost 11.5 billion pesos. Mr. Ernesto Tanmantiong, the CEO, said that the company is looking forward to the recovery this year, 2021, as the world gradually returns to normalcy with the introduction of COVID-19 vaccines. They still plan to open new 400 stores worldwide outside the Philippines, which is an international expansion, particularly in North America, Vietnam, and China. And Jollibee's sales and profits will be driven by the international business this year and in the coming years. The growth will be all international. The company said it plans 12 billion to open this 450 stores. That would mean that if you just divide it, 12 divided by Siago, which is Itzaputo, it's approximately just try it. 12,200 divided by 450. It's roughly 3 million. About less than 3. Kasi 450 times 3 is already Sapsatiam go 13.5 minus 1.3. So 3 minus 300. So exactly 2.7 million pesos is what they're allocating for each store. So it's not too bad. Meaning they're not going to spend too much on the expansion, but they still want to grow in the next how long will this 12 billion pesos be? It's a 2022, 2021, perhaps 1 to 2 years kind of capex. Jollibee opened 338 new stores, 81 in the Philippines, 257 abroad. This is the first time that the company's history, is now opening more stores abroad rather than in the Philippines. So you can clearly see that Jollibee is in a very expansion mode, but international is their foray. Now, we will emerge as a stronger business and organization. Besides the fast food stores, we are operating very restaurant brands in the Philippines and abroad. Jollibee closed 8.8% higher on Monday at 180 peso per share. All right. So I think what is more important to me, if you ask me, is that what's happening in Vietnam, China, and North America. Because clearly you're seeing that wealth is being distributed not just in Southeast Asia, but so Southeast Asia is your Vietnam, but it's essentially your Chinese market, right? So what I want to see here is the 400 stores in China. What's that gonna be? How I wish they actually specifically tell me what are the 400 new stores. Is that 200? Like how many stores in China? What exactly are these stores? Take note that Jollibee owns several brands, so I'm not sure. Like, like are they opening Tim Hoan, or are they opening a Jollibee there? What's gonna be like? I think Jollibee is doing so well. The brand itself is doing so well in China, Vietnam, and you've seen how it did in Hong Kong. So I'd like to see Jollibee exactly in China. They have the Hong Zhuang Yuan in China doing well. The Yonghe King is doing well. So that's the kind of granular detail that I want to see when they're talking about 400 new stores worldwide. I guess it would be known more in the exact Jollibee earnings call. So let's just go to Jollibee website itself. Usually a good company will share it straight on their website. So Jollibee investors na lang. Let's go to Jollibee investors relationships. Yeah, just go straight. Everyone can see it. Consumers should see it. So this is, of course, the international news and then the company's milestones. We already are aware of how many company brands they already own. So there's nothing wrong in just adding up on our knowledge how much is this international stores count going to be. So they've been expanding in Europe, third branch in UK. They're planning. So right now, they want to expand in America, North America particularly. I want to see exactly the granular detail. I hope they put it here in their investors presentations. So far, no worries. Actually, Jollibee is one of the companies in the Philippines that are they're very transparent. They share everything, like their mission in expanding to becoming the fifth largest QSR in the world, quick service restaurant. So really, it's a good thing. Spending 12 billion pesos may not be such a big deal actually, because if you multiply that, if you divide that, it's just 2.7 million pesos. If you're Jollibee and you are really playing the reopening theme in the next 5 years, then you're correct to actually expand while the market is really going to give you ability to capital spend. Take note that Jollibee got about $600 million of really low interest rates, and I think it's about 4%. So let me just read more on news about this. So you could see that they are opening a record number of stores, no? So they're expanding their footprint, particularly in North America, Vietnam, China. Those who don't know the Vietnam dynamics, guys, Vietnam is growing something in the realm of more than 8% GDP growth. So, and all the Vietnamese love Jollibee. So I think that this is a good foray for Jollibee to do that. So I wholeheartedly agree with that move. Now, the reflective improvement is good. I see this earnings drop as it's normal. So it's okay. This 35% drop loss in 2020 is not a big problem for me. Says here that 100% of the stores in China are now open. 94% in North America is open. 95% for superfoods, that would be Vietnam. 90% for coffee bean and tea leaf. So you're seeing that the worldwide reopening play is truly happening. And they are going to generate recurring profits and growth in the next few quarters. It shows you the execution is there in Jollibee's standpoint. Business transformation program, commissaries, total of 486 stores, which is 262 covered by the BT program, were permanently closed. The business transformation covered, the rationalization of worldwide operations. So far, right now, as of 2020, Jollibee is operating 5,824 stores under the brands Jollibee, Chowking, Greenwich, Red Ribbon, Mang Inasal, Burger King, Pho, 24, Panda Express in the Philippines. As I said, in the Chinese market, they've got Yonghua King, Hong Chong Yan. They've got the Dunkin' Donuts franchise. Tim Ho Wan is a Southeast Asian play here. Jollibee, Red Ribbon, Helen's Coffee, Hard Rock, Smash Burger, and CBTL. Yeah. So I'm okay with that. I'm good with this with Jollibee news. What else are being shared here? Jollibee and Yoshinoya is now pairing up for Japanese restaurant expansion in the Philippines. Now, this is also good news, guys. Jollibee is taking over the very first ever Japanese food chain in the Philippine market, which is Yoshinoya. They're entering a 50-50 JV. And this will serve Japanese restaurants, local franchisee, and expand the brand locally with 50 stores eyed for opening in the long term. All right. So I need to explain to you guys that if you have money, we're talking about $600 million, times mo na lang ng 50, that's about 30 billion pesos. Jollibee has cash. And in a COVID pandemic where you have really great brands like Yoshinoya out there who's suffering because of COVID pandemic, the best thing to do if you have cash, guys, is to buy and take advantage. And that's really what Jollibee is doing. So in my view, that's a good move. That is a correct move. You have to take advantage of the bargain opportunities that are there, especially if you have money. And Jollibee is a company that has a solid balance sheet. So, they can actually take advantage. Given the strong demand for food delivery, the commissary sales is going to enable them. Your frequent eating habits is now becoming a food delivery market. And Tony Tan Katyong-led firm knows this. That's why they were able to grow and have a lower impact for the fourth quarter 2020 with their franchise brands. So the shrinkage of the closures and the lower sales per store is actually a good thing. They are doing a cost rationalization program. You close the stores that aren't doing well. At the same time, you open the stores around the world, not in the Philippines. You're opening it in Vietnam, in China, in North America, which are actually growing further. And if you're Jollibee, that is the right play. you grow and put your money where the money is growing and it's flowing in Vietnam. The jobs are increasing in Vietnam. You've got engineers in Vietnam doing well. Um, and you can learn about this when you listen to my C Limited buy call. The Southeast Asian giant in the Philippine market, in the entire Southeast Asia is C Limited. That's your Shopee. It's doing well. Actually, if Jollibee said they want to expand in Indonesia, I think that's even a yes. So I understand why Jollibee actually bought this coffee bean, because coffee bean tea leaf is doing so well in Indonesia. So when you understand the entire strategy of the company, everything just makes so much sense that the 180 pesos today of Jollibee is actually a great buying opportunity. Even if it goes 150 or 170, it doesn't really matter. Those who have Jollibee at 130, 99, you keep on buying great companies. You just make money while you're sleeping. As in the next 5 years, you see this company going 500 pesos or 300 pesos. It's not a no-brainer. It's an ownership. You are owning a company that's really growing worldwide. So that's a good play. You have to be proud that you're a Filipino who can actually buy Jollibee shares. This earnings for the quarter is not really it doesn't really matter, to be honest, in the long run. You just have to really understand that the shareholders of Jollibee are really long term in nature. Now, yeah, so let's take a look at the chart of Jollibee. Jollibee right now is trading at 180 pesos. 179, right? So we argued actually for a long time that this 3 months drop of JFC from about 210, diba? From about December, January, February, this is actually an entry opportunity. In the last 6-7 months, you can see that it is still higher than your 130. And this one was actually marked, this breakout in October was happening because of primarily, you've seen the vaccines happen, right? No, October, November, right? So indeed, everything just makes sense. Like all of your restaurants worldwide are reopening, and you will see that in the numbers very clearly in the next 3 to 4 quarters. So those who want to enter Jollibee right now at 180 bucks, 180 all the way to 150, Awesome10X is recommending a buy here. So this is just keep on holding your positions. Year to date, Jollibee is still suffering something in the realm. I mean, 2020 March, okay, it's not suffering anymore. Like your March was 184, it's just 5 peso lower. So you could see that the market can see that Jollibee is one of the best reopening restaurants, not just in the Philippines, but worldwide. So take advantage of the global domination that's happening in Jollibee. It's a franchise play. Stocks that got added into the sector indices lately, from a broker's point of view, how will this affect the stock? Does this mean that brokers will be able to buy more, lesser risk? Not necessarily. Actually, it has nothing to do. Sector index additions have nothing to do really. So let me share what happened in the Philippine market. All right. So other than the news of Jollibee, let me share what happened in the index. So market value today is 17.8 billion, 7,044, up 1.2%. You've got some crosses here of 12 billion, and you've got a block sales here of 338 million. 122 advancers, 89 decliners. Foreign net selling is just down 68 million pesos. So let's take a look at the green moves today. You're seeing that index has really advanced today, trying to recover. So we've argued that 6,700, 6,700, 6,800, 6,000, all those levels are really not a question. It's you see the Philippine market actually more in a trading range. It's a buy low, sell high market. So when it's low, you get to enter, and then if it's high, next 3 to 6 months, you get to sell. Let's read about the index report. Your SM Prime is 38, your JG Summit is 67.4, your SM is 1070, your AEV is 44, your BDOs are 109, Ayala Corp is 793, your URC is 141, your PLDT is 1374, Meralco is 294, AGI is 1084, Megaworld is 3.9, Ayala Lands 40, your DMC is 553, Metrobank is 49, ICT is 122, your Emperador is back to 10, just 10 really, like for the last 7 months. Globe 2046, San Miguel Corp is 127, your Pure Gold is still steady at 39, Your Security Bank is 128.5. GT Cap is 570. FGen $30. Aboitiz Power 26. MPI 417. BPI is 85.8. Luciaton Group is 1450. Jollibee's 179. Robinson's Land is 1936. Robinson's Retail is 57. Bloomberry 780. I think I know now why Robinson's Retail, guys, is 757. But let me tell you why it doesn't really matter why Robinson's Retail is $57. It still is a buying opportunity. Now, take note that Robinson's Retail owns Topshop. The owner of Topshop actually closed down. So all the stores in the Philippines is actually going to be closed. It's just going to be e-commerce. I'm going to read this to you. It's from Spot PH. Topshop is closing down all their stores in the Philippines. The closure will include Topman, Dorothy Perkins, and Burton. In November 2020, British multinational company Arcadia, the parent company behind Topshop, and all the globally recognized retail brands collapsed into admin, meaning the company was declared insolvent. Now, the representative from Topshop, whether it be Topshop, Dorothy Perkins, will now be closing down all their stores in the country, and all the branches will be completely closed down by April 2021. In February, take note that ASOS purchased Topshop and Topman from Arcadia. For those who don't know who ASOS is actually a British UK retailer that actually can do a lot of e-commerce. So what's going to happen here is that all of these shops are going to be sent into marketplaces like your Shoppees, Lazadas, or specifically the Topman.com. So you can actually still order them, or you can just go to asos.com. So what you're seeing really that bigger brands who know how to sell online are going to take over all of these brick and mortar shops. And if they think that these brick and mortar brands are not necessary, then they're just going to close it down. It doesn't mean that you won't be able to shop in your Topshop anymore. You could still do it, but it's going to be an e-commerce platform. So example, Topshop and Topman got bought out from Arcadia. Boohoo, another e-commerce platform, purchased Dorothy Perkins and Burton. So basically, the big brands are being bought by your online brands. So Amazon could carry it, or in this case, Boohoo and ASOS will carry Topshop, Topman, Dorothy Perkins, and Burton. The Guardian is noting that these purchase deals do not include Arcadia's physical stores or warehouses, leaving thousands of jobs at risk worldwide. Boohoo stated they had to buy only the e-commerce and digital assets and associated intellectual property rights, including customer data, related business information, and inventory. Topshop was founded in 1964, and by 2015, they had 510 stores across 58 countries, along with its male counterpart, Topman. Now, the brand has long been known for their irreverent, forward-thinking approach to fashion trends, and they've always been the forefront in Britain as a high street fashion. However, the brand struggled as they entered the 2010s, with more and more retailers turning online. So this is a vital strategy that many businesses have used to stay afloat amidst COVID-19 pandemic. So, okay, this is really a question on the omni-channel approach. We always said that a company that we like is somebody who actually can do a direct offense, something like a Nike. So Nike did a very good job, Nike direct offense. Nike has always been doing this direct-to-consumer play, D2C. Now, in the Philippine market, what you have to see from your retailers is actually SM doing a lot of direct-to-consumer approach. So you're seeing actually that SM Prime is one of the companies that will really have a tough problem in the future with all these retailers, retail malls, your retail tenants are not being able to pay the rentals in the malls. And that's really a huge problem for SM Mall. What happens to SM? Any thoughts? Yeah, actually, if you're asking me, I think that SM here at about 1070 is actually more of a great selling opportunity. So take profits on your SM, because I think that this company SM still has a lot of digitalization, transformation that they need to do in order to fight your Shoppees and Lazadas. You've got a lot of competition as well on your Instagram. So it's not going to be very beneficial to own a mall with very few foot traffic. So I am of the opinion that your retail in the Philippines still needs a lot to do, a lot of work. Any thoughts on PHA and ABL? How about IMI and ACR? So most of these companies, I don't really cover them, except that I know that they're kind of extended. So your PHA is still very extended here at about 3 pesos, right? So 2.83 pesos. I do think that this 160 to 320 is already toppish for PHA. Now, you could argue that it can still go higher, maybe 350, but I think that this is toppish. I see a double top happening here, a lower high perhaps. It could be a lower high or just really a trading range from 160 to 320. I don't see PHA going up further after all the good news has been digested. So this company has already risen something from the low of 20 plus cents, no? After reporting that they wanted to have a backdoor restructuring with SquidPay and then doing some crypto platforms, they've already gone something in the realm of 17 cents to 3 pesos. So I don't think you could stretch this further anymore. What else is the question? ACR. All right, with ACR, I think the problem with ACR is really the lack of interest more than anything else. ACR has been doing, in the last 5 years, doing nothing here. The stock price itself is just, sleeping from 1 peso to 1.4. Of course, ACR is a power generation company in Mindanao. That's all I know. But yeah, so unless like there's new news on ACR, I don't know if the market is interested too much. Let me see. Let me just find some news if there's any. Let me see. Alson, okay, just in the last 3 weeks, you're saying that Alson, which is the power generator in Mindanao, has 4 projects and they're going to spend about 6.5 billion pesos. I'm going to read it for you. Alcantara has earmarked 6.5 billion pesos, 3 hydro plants to become the first private sector power generator in Mindanao with an installed capacity of 468 megawatts. Our capex is under development. We've got San Ramon Power in Zamboanga. ACR Executive Vice President Chief Operating Officer Tirso Santillan said, these hydro plants will include the 14.6 megawatt run-of-the-river Sigil Hydro Plant in Sarangani Province and the hydro plant in Zamboanga del Norte, and then in Negros Occidental. This listed firm wants to be the one to ramp up all the hydro facilities in the coming years, while the SRPI, the Sigil Hydro Plant, is expected to go online by 2024. Once operational, we believe that these hydropower plants will comprise the bulk of the company's power facilities. One of ACR's first 3 are already operating. Earnings are already taking up 35% of ACR's profits. In the long run, we all have 8 hydro plants operating. We project that renewable energy will become 45% of our total earnings. And we also issued 1 billion pesos worth of commercial papers to finance all of these renewable projects in the pipeline. We are also announcing that we want to issue 3 billion pesos in short-term commercial papers. And currently the price is 1 peso 29. I think that long-term, long-term, ACR is doing the right path. Like they're doing a lot of these hydropower projects. And as long as they have ability to finance it, so they're doing financing through commercial papers, they're doing these planned projects. Eventually, I'd say that the ACR community will, I don't know what you call them, the ACR shareholders are doing, give it time. But I think right now, market is currently disinterested. You could see in the last 5 years, it barely, it barely responds to anything that the company is saying. And but fundamentally, I think there's some value here. So I just don't know if, because sometimes, if you're the only one who thinks there's value, it's also irrelevant. You take a look at this. The value trade is just a mere 3.5 million pesos. So I think like the problem of ACR has liquidity. It's about the liquidity. That's the problem. PLC dividend play. I'm not sure if PLC is gonna report some dividends this year because your revenues in Melco Casino might be very low this year. I think PLC, although you could argue that PLC's dividend is rental, but I'm not sure if they had a rental sharing agreement for 2020. You could see that in the last 5 years, dividends for PLC remained very high at 5 centavos. This is 2020, 5 centavos. That is March 2020, March 2019. So the ones that are actually asking for that dividend play for PLC, I think that you're right. Between now until next month, if PLC will continue to shell out some dividends, then it's really a company that is really great, right? Like you can see 5 cents, 50 cents you can buy. So that's like 10% dividend yield for you. As to whether they will pay 5-cent dividends, guys, for all we know, it's not 5 cents. So I'm not sure if they really will pay. But let's say it's just 3 cents, still not bad. So I think like PLC has the ability to pay dividends, but I'm not sure if they can pay high. That's the only question. SSI is going to be a retail leader moving forward. I think, yes, in the future, I think that Anton Huang did quite a good job with SSI. And really, if you are a direct-to-consumer play, like what Shake Shack Philippines has been doing, they're learning. So I'm not saying that the Philippine retailers are damn for good. I just think that actually in fact, I don't even see that they're down for good. I feel as if personally they are actually a good deep effing value. So I just think that you just need to give it some time. Give yourself some time to see whether the Philippine retailers can actually fight this direct to consumer market. Now, ATN is building 3 times the continuation until the last term of Duterte. For the build, I'm not quite sure. Because this build of Duterte has a lot of government-related contracts that could have been delayed. I'm not quite sure. We'll try to see. It's already 30 minutes, so let me just kindly, I'm going to read very fast and see any questions that I should answer. IMI, we kind of said that, sure, IMI is trying to say something that they're doing well with their Vayao German Optronics, but I'm not quite compelled. I gave my views on IMI. I said, all right, goes 9, 10, 11, 12, but I'm not really sure because when it comes to semiconductors and automotives and 5G, there's really a lot of competition, and IMI and Via Optronics does not even enter the radar screens when I read up on the sector. And I'm talking about global. So sure, they're listed abroad, but I don't think the market in the US is really bullish on IMI, me personally. Even if it went up, actually, if your IPO is just barely breaking even, because I think it went from 12 to 7 and back to 12, that's not really the kind of IPO that I'm talking about. That's not a bullish thing. Because any company in the US that's really bullish is about 200 to 500% already. So okay, you can argue 7 went to 14, right? But the fact that it even reached 7 is already a dilemma. You have to even ask yourself, why is the market even not willing to pay on the IPO price? This is just more of a mean reversion play, if you ask me. And then DWC on a pullback. So DWC is more on a Palawan reopening play, just like what we believe in Jollibee. I think like it's more of you have to understand that the reopening play is not going to be an overnight success. You kind of have to actually DWC is both there. It's a reopening play and it's really more in the acquisition, right? You're buying it more on the real estate. If you believe that the real estate is actually a value play because Discovery World has been buying up assets in Palawan, in Siargao Island, consolidating all these Boracay resorts, I think that this is more of it's twofold. It's an asset valuation play on how much these Palawan assets are. And of course, it is also a reopening play. Now, actually, people ask me, well, if we're going to talk about assets, isn't BMW one of the cheapest assets that's listed in the market? And I would agree. That's why I put a DFV on BMW. A DFV means a deep fucking value. So I do see a deep fucking value on your DWC, on your DMWs, your Philippine assets. You've got another deep fucking value on SSI. So I don't know what exactly is I mean, it's really more on the liquidity. I don't think that the Philippine market has a lack of values. They have, but liquidity is the one that's absent. Now, about the added on stocks, I don't think that it really matters. I'm not sure. Like for others, maybe it matters to them, but for me, it's not. I mean, sector inclusion, you could be included in the sector, but if your liquidity is still 5 million pesos, that's not important. Now, conversely, if you're not listed in the sector stocks, but you're getting 50 million value trades every single day, I think that's more important. Sector indices is really just a function of liquidity. And liquidity is really very important. Like you could be very valuable, but if nobody's really caring about how to unlock your value, to me, that's nonsense. Sun Casino, yeah, so we've been mentioning that Sun is really a partner of our Resorts World, right? So Sun City. Sun is still trading here at about 1.88. We actually argued as early as 1.3. I remember saying it at about 1.3. Where was that? Hindi ba 1.3 yon? Dito, guys, yeah. 1 year ago, I said this, 1.3. So it's still above, like it's still higher low. But I think the problem with Sun is we still just lack the opportunity to make money. Because right now, casino, tourism, you know naman, di ba, hintayin eh. You have to wait it out. So yun, most of the Philippine companies, I think, are going to rely on a reopening theme, which means that tourism is going to be a huge factor in the reopening place. So that still means that we are still bullish on these companies, whether it be the casino sector, whether your casino pick is Bloomberry or PLC or Sun. I'm okay with that. Whatever it is that you are thinking, I could agree if there's a narrative. Kasi Bloomberry to me is a narrative play. You get a narrative with numbers. It's not just narratives. Narrative with numbers because the more the tourists come in the future, at some point in time, these tourists will come to the casinos. So whether it be Bloomberry, whether it be Sun City, whether it be PLC, we should benefit over the long run. And so we argued PLC here about as early as 33 cents, but it was really a buy. So I think like for me, I don't want to buy simply for the dividend play. The dividend is a great catalyst, but ask yourself, is this company gonna recover after the pandemic? And if the answer is yes, then it should be a buy. All right. So thank you very much, guys, and see you again tomorrow. And do watch and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share Awesome 10X. Bye bye.